Hey everybody, this is Wallace. I'm a freaking vampire. Um, I'm definitely feeling evil tonight. There's a full moon out, and I look like a werewolf. I actually do. Like, I imagine a werewolf freaking looking like me. I've seen a dude who claimed to be a werewolf, and I'm sure that there's a high probability that they actually freaking exist. But of course, I don't know about that. And the one wolf that I did meet, he was he liked me, probably because I was really how do I say this, not evil. I want to talk about evil. Like, obviously, right now I just said I was evil. After working today, and like with how wise I am about things and people, certain professions require a degree of being evil. And what I mean by evil is the opposite of good. So if you're good, I'm not talking about breaking the law. I'm talking about obeying the laws, clearly. But let's say you're doing a job and you're working with someone who's giving you a hard time, and you're a really good person. Let's say you've done many, many good deeds, and literally some person is just like farting in your face. Okay? If you're a good person and you have no experience in being evil, you're going to freak out. You're going to freak the heck out. There's a very high probability of that guy farting in your face, who you don't like, clearly, who's purposefully doing evil things to you, which farting in your face I would consider an evil person would do. I can't imagine a good person doing that unless they're trying to teach you a good lesson. My point is, if you want to survive in certain situations, you have to learn how to be evil. And you know you're evil when you think about farting in people's faces and the enjoyment of that it may bring you. It's a pretty simple uh, explanation. So, did I get somebody to fart? Did somebody fart in my face today? No, no. Did I walk in? I don't know if I want to talk about. I really don't. I really don't mind, honestly. I think it doesn't. Like, clearly, like, if you look at me, I'm not like, I don't look like a good person, right? I don't think vampires are supposed to be good people. I think I'm not saying that they should, again, not do anything heinous, obviously, but the capacity for evil seems inherent in a person who doesn't fit in, or who is considered a bad, not good um, character in the movies. Clearly, um, my message is about spreading positive awareness. Well, positive awareness to bridge communications, but bridge communication to understand and not fear and hate or outright, specifically. But there are many good people and many evil people in the world. Many, 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 many. And I've learned that evil people tend to be great leaders. leaders who have the capacity for goodness and for not goodness. That's what I'm trying to say. The adults in the room, the people who know how men behave under different circumstances, how women behave in different circumstances, those kind of people. So, did I have someone do something nasty to me today? Yes. As I've said in other videos, I think it's, I was going to say the fact that I have curly hair, people like to mess with me, but, it's that whiny, victim like persona that may or may not come with being good. Like, oh, that person just did something to me that wasn't right. Whereas if you're kind of an evil mindset, you're like, well, I'm going to go ahead and that person just did that to me. I'm just going to go ahead and, make them feel bad in some way. I'm not going to take the blame. I'm not going to be a victim, but instead the situation may be to where I don't do or say anything. And I enjoy I may change from a good person to an evil person, within a series of events that this other character's clearly not happy with me existing and is doing things purposefully to make me have to adapt. But it's actually something that I've been thinking about recently. Like, I've been watching some of the videos, and most of the time I'm a really good person. And I don't think that's necessarily good. In fact, I think it's downright not good. Clearly, I say that word a lot. It's really annoying. But clearly, obviously, um, some humor and some things that I enjoy doing are better done when I'm thinking darkly, if you will. So, yeah, my childhood was confusing and rather dark and felt lonely. But most of my upbringing, I was quite spoiled. So I kind of had this dual nature, and then trying to adapt and be seen as not a bad thing. Trying to get a job as a vampire, it's not easy. It's very, very, very difficult. More difficult than you would imagine. And, try to be good. And then find out that people like you better when you're not good. Particularly adults, and particularly women. Do I think that's right? Do I think that's right in all adult professions? Of course not. No. Can an evil person still be fair? Yes, of course. I heard today I was at the library, right? And I love the library for many reasons. And I'm reading this great book. If I can only read for so long, and I go do something else and come back to the library and read again, I don't feel bad about it. So that's what the library's for, right? So I'm trying to read my book, and I've got some kind of like mental barriers in my mind to not get too distracted so I could read. But I enjoy listening to conversations lightly. People are putting on a show or whatnot, and I enjoy it. But I hear, I'm trying not to. One thing that'll get me, and I don't feel bad about it when people do this, is that when people do funny stuff. And this nerdy dude, who I can't help but like the guy because he's nerdy and funny. He starts talking about D&D, in Dungeons and Dragons. It's that game where you uh, surround yourself with other people who um, are just trying to have a good time. It's like strategic. It's fun, and you could be that one person who doesn't care about strategy and just likes to role play a character, right? So it's for everybody. But anyways, he's talking to this other guy, and the nerdy guy who I don't like, but also like, starts talking. He's just like, "Oh man, you're talking about my addiction to D&D. I love D&D." I can't help but laugh. It's like it broke me. I'm like, oh man, I can't. I got the giggles. I got the giggles. Something fierce. And I'm just like, I can't do. And like everything's starting to make me laugh. I'm like, I can't. I gotta leave. But I'm happy. And like obviously, I'm in that moment being evil and like thinking of jokes and mockingly laughing at this person, you know. And but also related to D&D is that there's alignments of what your character can be, good, neutral, evil, and different, you know, degrees of that. It's pretty good. It's pretty good to think and judge myself. I found, and I don't like judging. I really don't like. Most of the time, other people can just be other people, and I like it when people are funny or interesting. And depends on my mood, clearly. But I really don't. And if I'm judging someone, it's because I'm being an asshole and I'm mocking, or maybe I'm way too good on that. I just talked about that goodness scale or whatever in that game, and I'm being like this really judgmental, like it's got to be this way, even though I look like a freaking, like I said earlier, like a freaking werewolf out of a movie or whatever. Hypocritical. Um. Anywho, but one thing I do want to point out about myself is that whenever I'm resting and I kind of go back to my norm is good. Like honestly, truthfully, I become a good guy again. Like, even after someone essentially doing something worse than farting, I'd rather like. I'm not gonna say what happened. All right, it's gross. Maybe I shouldn't say what happened. I don't know if I want to. Like, I don't know who did it clearly. So, you know, given that, I know I could talk about it. So basically, part of my, let's just say someone did something real nasty in the restroom. All right, and I was cleaning the restroom. I cleaned it, and then I come back, and it's really nasty. Let's just say that. Um, I was saying, but what I was saying is that I think something is wrong with me. The fact that my norm is being a good guy. Clearly, I'm not a superhero. I'm not. You know, um, and the reason why I even bring that word up is that I've heard certain people make that comment wholeheartedly, like not as an asshole. They're like, "Look at this guy. He's doing this and that, and he's doing all these good things, picking up trash off the ground, giving money to homeless people. You know, making people's lives better, trying to, in a good way, going out of his way, doing all these things." Like, I feel like that's super, super, um, like there's something wrong with me. Uh, Not just because I'm a vampire, but because I'm an adult. You know, I feel like if you're going to be a Boy Scout, you're a boy. I'm not a Boy Scout. I'm not a boy. So clearly, you know, I need to change my norm. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm having difficulty in different relationships with people in general. Um, so, so yeah, you know, I thought about something today. You know, that having a bad, not a bad day at work. Obviously, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the. Clearly, I'm very, very tough. I've learned to be very, very tough. I'm not talking bad about my work at all. Like, I'm a man. All right, I get treated like a man, and that's like the best thing for me. Okay, so forget what I was gonna say. I find it ironic when people feel bad for me, and it's a complication that has to do with tied to being a vampire. I look much younger. Typically, I look much younger. Right now, I'm kind of tired and not really using vampirism because I'm lazy. Um, and like, so like people are like, he looks like he's, you know, he looks like he's. Some people say I look like a. Sometimes I look like a teenager. You know, they're like, oh, I feel bad. Like, look at this guy being mistreated. You're not supposed to mistreat younger guys, right? It's like a. It's not just an evil thing when a person's doing evil thing. When evil things are done to younger people, it's clearly worse. But because I'm a vampire, it adds that layer of complexity. So, given all of that, you know, having an evil mindset, instead of feeling victimized, if I was in a good mindset, I'd be like, oh man, well, yeah, I feel bad that that person feels bad for me. You know, that would be what I would say. Like, I feel bad that they feel bad. Like, I'm perfectly okay, and you know, start going off like that. But in an evil mindset, I'm thinking like, well, that's awesome. That means that that person feels something like a bad emotion because I'm being taken advantage of, so to speak. But really, I'm not, you know. So in reality, you know, I could use that in some way, you know, to maybe make a joke, to maybe do something like flirt, you know, to whatever degree. Um, but what I'm saying is, um, having these different um, change of heart, so to speak, from good to evil, is something that I've learned. And what I've learned also is that depending on what your mindset is, typically, it'll affect what your normal baseline um, that you go to and what you wake up as. So I want to spend more time being evil. Uh, Again, still obeying the laws and uh, maintaining my values. Maybe my values may change a little bit, but I think it's good for me. I think it's also therapeutic, and because for many reasons. for many reasons. So yeah, I just want to make this video and try to get some rest and just hang out. I gotta work early in the morning, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Hopefully tomorrow I can have some fun. Part of being a rock star, right? All right, y'all. Have a good night, but not too good. Have an evil night. All right, bye.